Let's talk about this Senior Bowl that the Detroit Lions are going to be a part of, their coaching staff, and they did something fun. Fun, interesting, however you want to say it. Duce Staley is actually going to be the head coach for the Detroit Lions. Aubrey Pleasant will be the defensive coordinator, and Ben Johnson will take over as the team's offensive coordinator for this week alone. Dan Campbell will actually serve as Duce Staley's assistant this week. I just kind of like how they're mixing that whole thing up over there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this before. I think it gives them opportunity to allow these players, these coaches, to be in their higher coaching roles and kind of see how it goes and what goes into being a head coach, what goes in being to an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. It's pretty cool, man. I like it.
Ben Johnson has been the rumored replacement for Anthony Lynn here in Detroit as offensive coordinator. Now you'll get a chance to see, what kind of offense he runs. See what these young kids and these young quarterbacks that they get a chance to look at.
Shout out to Jenna Newman in the chat too. She is not chopped liver, as she wrote in the chat. So I apologize. I just my window is only so big. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say, as we know, the Lions do not like going outside of their franchise, outside of what they believe in. Last year we wanted them to pick up a couple players and a couple coaches, and the Lions basically told us all to go to hell. So this is a good thing for them. If Ben Johnson's going to be the guy, it makes sense because it seems like they like what they like. Very, very tight-knit group.
Well, look, towards the end of the year when Dan Campbell was calling plays and Jared Goff was healthy and
Josh Reynolds came to the
team.
Amon-Ra
to the team. Amon-Ra's ascension just
Taylor Decker came back.
Unbelievable. This team was 3-3 in their last 6 games with Jared Goff posing really nice offensive numbers, winning football they were playing. So I think this is a great week that the Lions get a chance to scout, because if you look at those players that they drafted last year, maybe there was a guy in there that really didn't turn out the way that it hoped, but more often than not, it was those players: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Ali McNeil, Jameer Jefferson, Derek Barnes. I mean, these are draft picks last year
that they signed.
Yeah.
What I love about the Senior Bowl in terms of being on that coaching staff and seeing these guys is, like I said, you'll find a guy. You'll find a couple guys that they really embody what you want to show as a Detroit Lion, what you think the identity is, or what you think the strength is, and who you are. Finding those players, you can see them. Like I said, see them in the huddle, see them off the field, see them talking to players, see them in a bad play, see them in a good play. Also, it doesn't. You don't get held hostage having a top 10 pick, like a top 2, or you're looking at your number 2 pick for the Detroit Lions as well as the number 29 or whatever the hell it's going to be with the Rams playing so well. You get forced into picks sometimes. Like, I'll give you an example. Like the Cleveland Browns, they were forced into the Baker Mayfield draft pick. They were forced. Baker wins the Heisman. He's the talk of the town. He's the toast of the town. He's, in terms of bad or good, he's the talk of the town. He wins the Heisman. He's the next line of Oklahoma. They kind of got forced into making that pick, as opposed to if I can just sit back, relax, assess some assessment, turn everything off, and come up with something better. Josh Allen was in that draft, by the way. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson was drafted last in that draft, by the way. And I'm not, it's some other ones too. And I'm not saying that's the same situation. But sometimes when you can step back, cancel the noise out, you can make your own decision, and Senior Bowl is a good start for that.
As you mentioned that, it makes sense. Who was the team? I think it was Houston that wanted to hire the quarterback.
Josh McCown.
Yes. And you want to the word on the street was that the Houston Texans wanted another team with a vacancy to interview Josh McCown so that it would validate Houston hiring Josh McCown.
They are idiots.
And I bring that up because it kind of sounds exactly what you're talking about, Braylon. Cleveland, even if they had a better grade on Josh Allen over Baker Mayfield, you almost needed Josh Allen to be the number 2, like a strong number 2 pick, or somebody to say, "Oh, we're trading up to number 2 to take Josh Allen," because you don't have as much confidence in your own ability to evaluate a player.
100%. Like it's just like when you get a job. Like when you're lobbying for jobs, and you go back and forth. Like when a corporation knows that this corporation, this rival company, they're paying some money. Now it validates you more. Now they say, "Okay, no, we'll match that. Okay, we'll pay you this because somebody else wants you." If Josh Allen would have been from 7, if he was right around that 2-3, they would have felt better about that opportunity, just like you said.
I mean, look at the Chicago Bears trading up to get Mitchell Trubisky.
God,
Traded. Not only did they draft Mitchell Trubisky,
Yeah.
they traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky. With a couple of picks later, Patrick Mahomes going to Kansas City.
Was traded up for as well.
That, to me, is almost worse. It is worse than the Darko pick for the Pistons.
I agree.
Because at least the Pistons got one championship out of that. I mean, it was no harm, no foul.
He had nothing to do with the championship.
Exactly.
Right.
But at least you got a championship within that time frame.
I get it.
The Chicago Bears are, another coach, another general manager.
Another defensive coach, too.
A defensive coach.
D-Mac.
Oh, look at D-Mac out here. Come, this one here.
He got to go
Wait, no, this
one more
here.
over. One more over. There he is. There he is. There he is.
D-Mac.
I love that guy.
Love that guy. But yeah.
Oh, he fogged up all the
he
glass.
messed it up. But yeah, no.
Who's better than Darren McCarty?
Nobody.
And the thing that's so bad about that, they moved up to go number 2 in order to take Mitchell Trubisky. 49ers were going to take Solomon at the tackle anyway. They didn't have to move up to get him. And I always say, you got to win in college. You got to show me something in college for me to draft you in the first round, especially in the top 10. He didn't win at UNC. He split his senior year. He was 6-6 the year before. Year before that, he was 6-6. His senior year, he was 5-7.
By that criteria, though, Patrick Mahomes didn't do much winning at Texas Tech either.
But there's always
Thanks
unicorn.
to the coach.
But there's a unicorn.
Right.
You saw in Patrick Mahomes, like, hey, this guy's different. This guy has something
Right.
special.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But there are special circumstances and special cases. Mitchell Trubisky wasn't known, and they knew that going into that.
I think Patrick Mahomes can thank a gentleman by the name of Cliff Kingsbury for that win. And I think everybody in Arizona is seeing right now that Mr. Kingsbury isn't, God's gift to coaching.
No, he's not. I will tell you this, though. He does have a nice house. He does have a
Yes,
nice
he
house.
does.
Remember
That
the
draft?
draft?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, with that draft, I said Cliff Kingsbury is the smoothest coach the NFL has ever seen.
That was the 2021 draft or the
2020
2020 That was the
draft.
2020 draft.
Yeah,
when
that
That was the
draft.
COVID draft.
Yeah, that was
Kyler Murray.
Bill Belichick taking it from his
dog.
kitchen table with the dog.
The dog. That
Jerry
was funny.
Jones from
Jerry
that
Jo-
yacht.
oh, my God,
And then
from the
Cliff
yacht.
Kingsbury from that just scenic.
That was amazing.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know they had a house like that in Arizona.
Yeah, so, gang, it is going to be a big weekend of football. When will the Lions ever get here? I mean, it's just when you see teams and games like this that you're about to see, doesn't it feel like the Lions are just so far away from competing with either of these teams that are
course.
playing?
Of course.
No, it does. Because they haven't been there in a while. I think last time they were in the playoffs, 2016, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2016. And even then, even when they go to playoffs, 3 playoff appearances in the past, 15, 20 years or so, it's just you lose. Right. Even with the Dallas game, the situation, it was, it is what it is. It just seems so far away, man. Every year, it's like we find ways to lose. We find ways to hire the wrong people. We find ways to bring in the wrong people, let go of the wrong people, if you will. But, if you're not inside the city of Detroit, because I heard Tim Hasselbeck or Matt Hasselbeck's brother say something the other day. He made a comment. Tim Hasselbeck said something. He was talking about the teams in the NFC North, talking about talking about Rodgers potentially leaving. He said, why would you leave? He said, you have Minnesota. They're going through a rebuild.
Right.
He said, you have Chicago. He said, you're going through a new coach. He said, Detroit's Detroit. I said, what the hell you mean Detroit's Detroit? Have you paid attention? So that's the other side. If you're not inside Detroit, you would think Detroit is far away. If you're inside Detroit, got a little bit of optimism that they might be closer than people think.
What are your Super Bowl predictions? We're going to talk about the AFC and NFC championship games. Huge weekend of football.
Break it down.
We're going to break down the games. Braylon's breakdown of the
I
games.
don't know about that one, man. This isn't a minute one, though. This is just
Where's Jade? We need Jade.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Work. Woodward Sports Net. This is the Big Ten Network. Woodward Sports. It's the bottom line. You've reached the end of the video. You know what you should do? Press like. You know you like the content that we have here at Woodward Sports Network. I'm Braylon Edwards from the bottom line. Subscribe to us right now.